Hey, Noah.
Hey.
The title of my talk with the doctors and their teams in San Antonio is God Sends You Signals. And I just spent a few minutes telling them what happened to us in the summer of 2011. And I just thought that that would be a very appropriate topic for my time to spend with them, to share that practice has highs and it has lows. And I truly do believe that God sends you signals. And I believe that when we had the mass exodus in our practice, that was a signal from God for us to change or to be changed. And then you came into our life. So I have a few questions for you, right? And thank you for being here with me. So I gave you a panic call in August 2011. What did you think about when I gave you that call?
Well, I was pretty excited, of course. I didn't know if I was ready or not to take on the role of a head trainer at a facility like this. But I'm a real big believer in sinking and swimming, and for the most part I swim. So,
Can you share how we met and?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so you know my father from church, and at the time that he met you, I was talking with another chiropractor about starting some kind of chiropractic-based fitness program. And I had no idea that the One Health Solution Centers existed. I had no idea 8 Weeks Wellness existed, and so we had gone through these conversations 8, 9 months, almost a year, I think it was. And I finally kind of had it up to here because he just never wanted to, jump. I mean, we actually had looked at spaces, everything else. I kept trying to pull out of him. Have you seen this done somewhere else? Where has this been done?
Right.
Let's not reinvent the wheel. And he said, well, there's this place in Newtown. And a couple days later, my dad, I'm over talking to my dad, like I do almost every day, and he says, yeah, I met this really nice lady at church, and she sounds like she's doing exactly what you're talking about doing, and it's in Newtown.
And it was the same place.
And it was the same place, and it's in Newtown. I was just like, holy moly. So, being my father as he is, he said, you should go check it out, see what they're doing, see what you can learn, and that was really how I met you. I was just hoping to check out what was being done here, steal all your great ideas, and then apply them somewhere over in Hamilton.
But then that fell through.
Well, when I talked to Steve, and I found out really how easy it was to become an affiliate of the 8 Weeks Wellness Program, I became very excited, obviously. Right. And so I went home, I called the guy. I can still remember having a conversation in my driveway. It was sort of in the middle of a workout, and I'm pacing back and forth as I'm really amped up, and I'm like, I've been there in Newtown, we gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I don't feel like spending a couple $100 a month on that. And I just could not believe it, because I looked at it and I said, as I said to him, I said, the money we're going to save not making mistakes is going to be worth probably 10 times what we're investing in this.
Right.
But he just wasn't into investing it. So I sent you a resume, and I felt like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. I hoped that maybe I'd get a part-time gig, maybe fill out my book a little bit in the mornings, learn from the best, because obviously you walk into this building, you realize this is not your average chiropractic facility. Right. So I was just hoping to kind of come on board, learn as much as I could, maybe for a few years, find a chiropractor that I liked, and open up my own 8 Weeks Wellness. Right. That was kind of the dream.
And where were you working, or how many jobs were you holding down at that point?
I was working a lot of jobs. I mean, I was a trainer, full-time trainer. I was a basketball coach at a high school. I was a strength coach at a gymnastics school. I was doing in-home training. People were coming to my house. I had a little snack bar at a racetrack where I sold, whatever on Saturday nights. And I was like most trainers. I was putting, little pieces together as I found them. Right. I never turned down an opportunity. And so I worked 7 days a week. If I had work on Sunday, I'd work on Sunday for sure. Wow. If somebody wanted to work out at 5 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, I would train them. I never said no. So
you were doing a lot of things to make ends meet.
I was doing a lot of things to make ends meet.
I know, and I knew this through your father, through church, and I know that you're a very private person, but I do want you to share a little bit about this. In that same year of 2011, I believe your family suffered a great tragic loss of your younger sister. And I'd like you just to share a little bit about how she passed, and potentially how the timing of my phone call to you. Again, I don't believe in coincidences, and I do believe that the timing somehow played into that part of your life. And if you could share a little bit about what happened that summer.
Sure. My baby sister Priscilla, she was 28 and she died, and she had an autoimmune disease that she had for 8 years. So it was, seems like all we can really remember anymore. She had an 8-month-old son and a husband, and it was very, very tough. It was very, very tough.
Yeah.
So it was definitely I was certainly not in my right state of mind then. That's for sure. Things were really hazy. It was just really, really hard. And I don't want to say it was rock bottom, but it was kind of rock bottom. I mean, other things going on in my life, you know. I have the most beautiful wife and a great family. I have so many blessings, but
you were all suffering as a
but
family.
yeah, we all. There was. It seemed like even my wife. My wife was my sister's mentor.
Right.
So my wife was hurting from it. So we were all just seemed like really beat down.
Right.
You know, and I had insult to injury. You know, I lost that snack bar I told you about. I lost a contract on it like a couple days later,
Right.
and then my dog died a couple days. You know, a week later, and you know, it was, which sounds funny to say after, you know, my baby sister died.
It wasn't so funny then.
But it was, and it was just like it was just a tough month to have everything around you just kind of like, you know, I looked at myself and I was kind of thinking, well, what am I doing wrong here? I think I'm a nice guy. I think I work hard. You know, what's going on here? And I knew I needed a big change. And I looked back at my life and I thought, you know, I needed to get in the fast lane.
Right.
And I knew I was doing a lot of things wrong with my career as far as being a trainer. I was doing what every expert told you not to do,
Right.
which is do everything.
Right.
And I knew I had to seek out mentorship and experts if I wanted to move forward as a trainer.
Right.
And I saw what it did for me with my wife as a head gymnastics coach. I saw what that did for me. I saw what my jiu-jitsu coaches did for me. I saw what my weightlifting coaches did for me. And I knew I needed another great coach in my life. And so I decided to seek one out. And I cast a wide net. And I hoped that somebody would look at what I had done and think, you know, and think I was a good fit for, you know, what they wanted.
Right. And then we called.
And then you called, and boy, that was great. That was it was a shocker.
So when you came here, because you have totally overhauled what 8 Weeks to Wellness started with our fitness center, and just in a minute or two, but describe the weaknesses that you saw, and then tell me how we're 2 years later and you've developed this absolutely incredible model that can be reproduced. So talk to me about the weaknesses and what you saw we needed to do to create a system of the fitness for 8 Weeks to Wellness.
Well, number one thing I wanted to do was protect you from that ever happening again. And I felt like
From the trainers ever walking.
From trainers, just everybody leaving once and taking their business and trying to shut you down, basically. And we know that in the training business, this is a big, big danger.
Yes.
And it's a new business, and there's lots of dangers in it for sure. Head coaches come and go. You know, they come in for a year. The owners use them up, spit them out. So it's dangerous in that position.
Right.
But it's also dangerous for the owners because good trainers, they build up their book on somebody else's marketing and sales, and then they leave. And they walk and they take everybody with them. So I knew that was a big danger. So I wanted to create a system that was more program driven rather than personality driven.
Great.
And so, you know, the idea would be that somebody could walk in, train with me for 3 months, and on that next week, maybe I'm not here, and you know, Mike or Patrick or another coach is here, and they can literally pick up exactly where I left off. I always use the joke, if I get hit by a bus, I want to know that all my athletes are going to be well taken care of. And so it's important for me that I set up a plan for them so that way, in the interim, when they, for whatever happens, they will progress until they figure out what the next move for them is going to be. So that's critical. The other thing I was interested in was creating a program that drove retention. And with a bodybuilding program, I don't think that really drives retention because it's not skill-based.
Right.
You know, if you can just jump on a machine and you can get it right very first time, it's not skill-based.
Okay.
So what I was looking to do is create a program that had progressions, that led you from one progression to the next. There's no end to skill.
Excellent.
Which is so awesome. So, you know, even the greatest athletes in the world, they have coaches that constantly watch them. In fact, oftentimes, the higher level the skill, the more coaches are supervising them.
So they feel they need us.
So they feel they need us. There's never going to come a time where someone's going to look around and say, you know what? I own this. It's time for me to move on to the next thing. And part of how I do that is I make sure I put my program on the walls.
Right.
So they know, look at all this stuff I don't know. You know, I make it really, really obvious to them. I make it really obvious by putting progressions on the board that maybe only 1% will ever actually achieve. Right. This way they know, look, there's a horizon. You know, you're not at the start at the finish point. Right. It's a long journey, and I think skills helps show that.
And one of the things that, and we had this model before, but you have really, really systemized it, is that the one-on-one model, it's not profitable. We know that. But the model you've set up can literally be one trainer with 20 clients in this room, not necessarily first day clients, but that's been spectacular too. I mean, there's times I walk in this gym and there are 20 people and there's one of you or one Patrick or one Michael, and that's pretty amazing.
It's fun. I've had 31 in here on a Monday night.
Wow.
31. And let me tell you, I mean, yes, is it stressful? Sure it is. Yes,
Right.
are you running around like a chicken with your head cut off? Yeah, but it is so much fun.
Right.
I can't even imagine going back to the days where I went and visited somebody in their house and literally stood there over them as they were doing a plank for a minute. Just standing there, staring at them for a minute. I mean, it was mind-numbing.
Yeah.
And here, I mean, it literally, at least for me, maybe not other people, but for me, it takes every ounce of my intelligence and my talent and my skills to run a room that big. And it's just, it's quite satisfying, I would say, at the end of the day, when you look at how many people you were able to help and you were able to serve and walk out the door happy, and you ask them, do you feel the same, worse, or better than when you walked in the room? And when they all say better, I mean,
Awesome.
it's
And
awesome.
ultimately, that's what it's about, serving, because the more we serve, the better it is, and that's what we want to do.
I mean, for me, that's the whole focus, right? How can we serve more people? How can we ease the suffering of most people? How can we teach self-reliance to more people? How can we inspire more people and embolden more people and empower more people? And so, I never even, I don't look at the dollars and cents. Of course, I look at the things that drive dollar and cents, but I try to keep that out of my mind. And what I really try and focus on is exactly that. How many people are you loving in and are you loving out? Because, the money will come with that.
Yeah.
If you're really serving people well, I just have this feeling that, in fact, I have proof of it, that people will just walk in your door. I know Mike Boyle he's one of my trainers I look at. He runs a huge facility. He's the functional training guru right now. He trains everybody from our population to kids to professional athletes. He's considered the best ice hockey strength and conditioning coach in the world. He spends $5,000 a year on marketing and sales. $5,000, and he runs a multi-million-dollar facility. And all they do is train.
Right.
They don't do chiropractic or any of the great stuff that we do, massage, all the other stuff that we do. He doesn't do. All he does is train. Multi-million-dollars. Spends $5,000. It's all based on referral.
Right.
To me, that's
what we want.
That's
Yeah.
a person who's serving well.
Yeah.
Those people are going home and they're telling everybody they know what kind of a stellar experience they're having at Mike Boyle's.
Right.
That's what I wanted to say when here
Right.
too.
I want them to say that, and I want them to say that across the nation as 8 Weeks to Wellness continues to grow, and I'm loving that it's going to be built on your system that you've created. Okay, I have one last question, comment. When you first started working for us, my twin brother Dean pulled me aside and he's like, Denise, Noah just told me, I don't even know how the conversation came up, but he's like, do you know what Noah just told me? And I'm like, what? He said, I'd take a bullet for your sister. And I remember hearing that, just going, I got the right man. Like 2 weeks into this, he is just loyal. So your loyalty is spectacular. And if there's one thing I want to come across in this interview to the people sitting in the room right now, is the loyalty that you have to us. And that's one of your unbelievable traits. But in about, let's say 25 years from now, your beautiful baby daughter, Mariah, is gonna be at her wedding, at her reception, and I've met her. I'm so glad to be adjusting her, and she's absolutely gorgeous, 3 months old, and she's going to toast you, Noah, and she's going to say, I want to share a couple of the finer traits of my father. What's she gonna say to us?
That's a good point. That's a good one. I'm hoping she'll say that she's been inspired to live a life of service. I'm hoping she'll say she's been inspired to be kind always. I'm hoping she'll be inspired to see God in everyone and everywhere. And I'm hoping that she'll consider being kind and serving others as a way of serving God and a way of honoring God. And I feel like if she approaches the world with compassion, I would consider myself successful. I don't care about anything else. It's just if she loves God and she's kind and she serves others, boy, I would be thrilled. And of course, I hope she's loyal to the people who are loyal to her.
Amen. Well, thank you, because you're all that to us in a bag of chips, of trans fat. free chips.
Can I say something real quick? You know, it's very easy for me to be loyal to people who have changed my life for the better. You know, my health has never been better. Spiritually, I've never been better, and that's saying a lot because I've had some pretty great moments with that. So that's my personal drive is spiritually. And I feel like I wake up happy, which I never really did in my life before. I've always struggled with depression, which you don't know about me, but I've always struggled with depression. And I find that serving every day and concentrating on serving others, which you allow me to do, you allow me to focus on nothing else other than serving other people. I don't have to think about the books. I don't have to think about marketing. I don't have to think about sales. I don't have to think about the roof over my head. I don't have to think about constantly new people coming in. I don't have to worry about being, you know, fired, or I don't get yelled at or abused. And you know, I just come in, and when I tell people, I said the best thing I ever did was quit working. And that's how I feel like when I'm here. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just fulfilling my mission. And you know, before I had the same mission, but I wasn't serving. I was serving 10% of the people I serve now. And so now, you know, one of my goals as a young person, which I almost forgot about as I got older, was I wanted to create change and impact as many people in as positive ways as I possibly could. And I kind of lost sight of that over the years as I became a construction manager and had my own contracting business. The spiritual life is not overt, and it certainly is not encouraged in that field. And with here, it's great that I can talk about being spiritual here. You know, it's not discouraged. And you know, I can hug people as they walk in and they walk out, and I can kiss people on the cheek, and I can tell them I love them. And you know, I feel like I can be all of myself, and all of especially the best parts of myself here.
Right.
I can't think of another time in my life where I could really be, I felt as free to express my true self like I do here. And boy, is that it's a weight I find that's lifted off of me. I feel like, so I make the joke sometimes, but it's not a joke, it's really serious. That I feel like this is a ministry of strength. I want to thank you for allowing me to have a true ministry of strength, the same way you have a ministry of health and wellness throughout the whole building. It's just, boy, I tell you, to be a minister of strength, you know, dumbbells, kettlebells, planks. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Well, we thank you, and I can only hope that every person in this room finds a Noah, one that's as loyal and dedicated to his craft, and that provides the loving service that you do. And I wanted to let you know that Dane, Jerry, and I, and Eric, and our whole team is very grateful to what you've given to us for the next 2 years, and I just pray it continues for the next 30, because we ain't going anywhere for a long time.
I'm not going anywhere either.
Thank
Thank
you
you again so much for having me.
You're welcome.